time, the money end of this championship, the Coca-Cola 10-pin classic. I'm Terry Kennedy. This is where nerves come into play. Jeanette Baker.
It really does. We're down to the real wire here, the semi-finals. See what the players can come up with under this pressure.
And it's Western Australia up against the under-21s. Here's how the youngsters line up. They'll be led off by Brad Hampson, 19 years of age, career average 204, game high of 300. Second up, Amanda Bradley, years bowling 7, career average 202. And third up, but not least, David Brooker, the big kid of these championships, 17 years of age, current average 196.
Western Australia change of form with change of line-up. They're now leading with Steve Hart, 25 years of age, screen printer from Perth. Tom Curry from Perth also, 47 years of age but 23 years experience. Trish Cortezes has bowled in the Australian team on several occasions, high game of 298.
The first semi-final and first up, the under-21s, who have been the big stars of the championship so far, up against the other stars and the big performers of Western Australia.
The under-21s have stayed with their normal lineup. That's Brad Hampson first, Amanda Bradley second, David third. There we go, there's the start.
What a start by the youngsters. The perfect ball to start with from Brad Hampson. And how often has he done it throughout the championship, leading from the front right into the pocket.
Showing the way to the rest of his team how to start, how to get going. Tom Curry leading off for Western Australia, shooting that tight inside line. It's light, he's getting a mix, but still 1 pin left. During the practice session, the Western Australians decided to modify their lineup slightly, where they've been successful with Steve Hart first, then Tom Curry and Trish Cortezes third. Because Steve Hart's having trouble on one lane, they decided to swap the 2 men around. Tom Curry now bowling on the left-hand lane, covers the spare.
He makes the desired start for the Westerners. So that decision, a good one by WA.
That's right. It's hard to even believe that 2 lanes that are oiled the same, there could be just a very slight variation on these lanes, but it's possible.
Amanda Bradley, 18 years of age, already won senior titles, looking for the second strike for the under-21s, and the 10-pin remains up.
That's right. Amanda's very, very solid at the line, as we see here, coming through, the ball coming back a long way at the end, which is one of the reasons why that 10-pin's still standing there. Plenty of room, covered.
And she takes it. She's got a great temperament, Amanda Bradley.
Really cool in the crisis. Shows hardly any emotion whatsoever to her advantage, as we see the ball just hanging onto the corner and taking out that single pin.
Steve Hart made changes to his game of late. Really yet to realise his full potential. 25 years of age from Perth. Picture of concentration.
That looks good.
Looks good.
That's it.
From the bench.
Strong shot by Steve Hart that time. A little bit more speed on the ball. Gave him the desired reaction. Delayed the turn towards the end. As we see, comes through and hits that ball rather hard at the end. Long and great strike. Steve Hart.
17-year-old David Brooker makes the approach.
Plenty of lane.
Ducking back.
Ooh.
Didn't duck back far enough. Stayed out on the right. We haven't seen that too often.
Well, David's been very, very accurate in this tournament. Although, to look at him, he's using so much power and so much turn. And by using that power and turn, it gives him a bigger area around the head pin in order to get a strike. This particular occasion, giving it too much room, and away to the right it went. Going for the spare. Good cover. Perfect cover. Not a problem. Staying clean at this stage of the game. Under-21s, 3 filled frames. David Brooker using the straighter shot, the second ball, covering the spare very comfortably.
Third up for WA. Trish Cortezes just drying a hand out for making her approach. thinking about the job at hand.
The teammate, Steve Hart, strike in the second frame. Trish Cortez is getting up in the third to try and get one more strike. It's crossing. No, not quite enough cross that time.
Okay, cover
Clean count. Spare here. Keeps them in front at this stage of the game. Asking the ball to cross over. Not quite enough turn at the end that time. The row of 3 in the right-hand side.
Bowling for 11 years, Trish Cortez. Current average 198. Looking to tidy up.
Had a girl.
This frame for WA.
Good cover.
Does it without any trouble at all.
And of course the pressure's really on both these teams, both WA and the under-21s. They've come through the tournament. They've come into the semi-finals. The under-21 seeded #1. Western Australia came in at 4th position.
Western Australia, they lead the under-21s in the opening semi-final by 4 pins. This contest, the opening semi-final between the under-21s and Western Australia, just 4 pins the advantage to WA at this stage. Brad Hampson, who made the perfect opening to this semi-final for the under-21s with a strike. Can he make it? Back-to-back strikes.
Well, they've come in top seed, and they've come in top seed for a reason. They've been able to produce when they've needed to. He's asking the ball to come back, but it stays out on the right-hand side.
Didn't like it from the moment he let go.
No, well, perspiration. He's using the resin bag there to try and get all excess perspiration off his hand so he can get a good feel of the ball. And, of course, a bit of perspiration on the hands when you release the ball means no lift. Gets away from you very quickly. Ooh, a chop. Taking the front 2 pins and leaving the back row pin that time, Brad Hampson.
So just opening the gate a touch here for WA. They'll get a sniff of it.
And of course this is their first encounter in this tournament this year. The under-21s have not played WA. They've watched each other during previous matches, but now they're up against one another.
Tom Curry was in the grand final of this championship last season. And he's left one out to the right, and I think it's the pressure.
I believe so. These players were looking solid earlier in practice. They were down on the lanes. Never looked like missing, as you can do when the pressure's off, even though the lights were on. But yet now it's down to the money end of the deal. They have to produce in this one game to go into the grand final.
Tidies it up.
Nice easy cover that time for Tom.
After that shot.
He's glad to see the end of that particular frame. Not happy with himself. And of course you're so uptight sometimes on that first shot. Comes to the second shot, able to relax a little bit. Going for the 4 pins this time.
Amanda Bradley, 18, looking for a strike.
There it is.
Amanda Bradley strikes for the under-21s. And the team's happy about that.
Particularly after an open, that's a psychological advantage, Terry. And that's a great pressure shot from Amanda Bradley that time. Once you open a frame, any competitor will look to double afterwards to make sure they're covered. Western Australia are staying clean, and that's what the basis is of covering up. Now, Steve Hart, this time on the left-hand lane, looking to improve the first ball count for WA.
The left-hander.
Oh, no.
Okay.
In the pocket that time, but just a fraction high. Single pin in the right-hand side. He'll use all the lane to cover it. A little bit softer that time. Checked his feet. He wasn't pleased with that shot. It wasn't as good as he can produce. But it's amazing what pressure can do to players when the pressure is on. They tend to find little idiosyncrasies they never knew they had.
He's had the perfect 300 game. He'll settle for picking up this spare, which he does. Steve Hart.
Nice and clean.
David
Let it go.
Booker,
Come on.
17. Doesn't muck around.
And actually, the piece of equipment that David is using is a hard case ball. So imagine if he was using the softer case balls that these other balls are using.
Yes,
Look,
strike.
yes. Great double for the under-21s. Brings them back almost even with Western Australia there on the 6th frame as we see that ball going out wide, heaps of revolutions, and he's pleased with that shot. Loves it, and it's an excellent shot. Great strike, great double.
Trish Cortezis now on the approach for WA. The under-21s have just had successive strikes. WA have made a consistent start to this first semi-final.
Lining up, tense concentration, long swing. It's going to go left, it's crossing. Oh!
Yes. Okay.
She's happy about
Very relieved to
that
see
one
that other
dropping.
pin fall. Absolutely. And this is the difference between the roll on the ball as it crosses over. One pin drops down and takes out that nasty baby split that could have been there, leaving the single 10 pin in the right-hand corner for Trish Cortezis.
Good girl.
Holds it out. Not a problem there. Good cover there.
Beautifully covered. Beautiful.
As Trish Cortezis covers the spare, Western Australia continue to close each and every one of their frames, staying very, very solid. The sign of experience that these older players have. The under-21s, one open frame.
And at the moment, Western Australia, they lead by 12 pins after 6 frames. In front of the under-21s in the first semi-final of the Coca Cola 10-pin Classic.
Brad Hampson, the lead-off bowler for the under-21s. There's a double already up there. One more here, and they're a chance of just putting their nose in front by getting the turkey or the 3rd strike in a row.
It's been solid throughout the championship. Brad Hampson,
There it is. That's the turkey.
goes up with it. The under-21s, they're hard to beat.
They're absolutely amazing under pressure. We've seen in previous games they look like they're absolutely gone for all money, and they find a way back. And here they come. Good team effort by these 3 young ones. He's riding that in. He's happy with that. Not a problem.
Tom Curry looking to respond now on behalf of WA.
There it
Yes,
is.
he does. Well, Tom Curry.
Really putting a great deal of effort into that shot, and the grimace on the face depicting the strike that he so desperately wanted.
Just 2 pins separating the under-21s who trail WA in this semi-final. Amanda Bradley, been a pillar of strength throughout the championship, looking for a second strike.
Yes.
Gets it.
Well, what a team effort these kids are putting in here. Absolutely fantastic. 3 different people taking it in turns for 3 different shots. And now here we have Amanda Bradley bringing up the 4th strike in the row for the under-21s, putting the pressure back on the Western Australian team, namely Steve Hart.
The True Value Hardware Company did put up a $10,000 bonus for any team who had the perfect game. That won't happen in this semi-final.
Steve Hart sending the ball out, bringing it back. It's gone high. Misses the opportunity for them to double. But again, keeping himself a spare that he can collect quite easily. The right-hand lane just, for most of the bowlers, just seems to be hooking that little bit more at the back end. That's the last 5 to 10 feet of the lane. So we still see equal concentration, shooting for the second spare. It's held, not a problem. Covered the spare, and they continue to close every frame, Western Australia.
After 8 frames, the under-21s in front by 8 pins at the moment. Steve Hart closes that off. WA, they're keeping a pretty close eye on that scoreboard as big David Brooker gets up, stands and delivers.
Good.
Down it goes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
Members of the crowd getting up on their feet, riding that last pin to fall over. And they're pleased. That's 5 in a row as we see this shot, sending it out. Heaps of wrist on that shot. The 4-pin looks like it's going to stand, but no, it goes over. As we see the determination, the effort that David puts into it. Yes, that 4-pin did go over. As now the base frame from WA comes up, the 9th frame. They're looking at a possible 214 if they can strike out from here.
A real crunch delivery here by Trish Cortezes.
Ooh,
Comes up with 9 pins, leaves the 10-pin in the right-hand corner.
she seemed to tighten up the line a little bit, sending it out, letting the lane bring the ball back, getting the trip on the 4-pin. But yet, one single pin standing in the right-hand corner. Trish Cortez is to shoot the spare in the 9th frame for WA. Continue their good, clean bowling this game in the first semi-final against the under-21s, who seem to be able to produce the strikes on call, as they will.
So Cortez tidies up the frame for WA.
The under-21 sitting on 5 strikes in a row going into the 10th frame. Western Australia being able to stay clean but not being able to string.
And the final 10th and deciding frame coming up after this short break. First semi-final, the under-21s, final frame. They lead Western Australia in this opening semi-final by 19 pins. Brad Hampson has come up with the big deliveries when necessary for his team, doing a tremendous job of leading this outfit.
If he strikes out here, possible 242 for the under-21s. He doesn't like it, but, oh, he still hoped. He still hoped. Able to go light. Actually heard on the release then a little pop. Got the ball down early, not enough wrist, but stayed light, looking for the break, but still the single pin. But they've still got a good 200 score here.
Need to get this single pin to get the spare and get the bonus ball. He does it.
Not a problem. That spare categorically shuts out Western Australia. Brad Hampson now looking to put a cap on the score, that is, get a strike for a possible 221. That's not bad bowling in the finals by the juniors of the group.
Maybe the juniors, but they're heading towards the grand final, the 10-pin classic.
Gone light again, 8 count. Final score for the under-21s, 219 with an open frame. That is absolutely superb bowling under pressure. Brilliant stuff by the juniors. Western Australia is still to finalise the game, complete the 10th frame, possible 203, Tom Curry.
That's what Tom Curry will be looking to do. He starts with a strike. They all like to finish off these games.
Well, absolutely. It's, if nothing else, it's a personal pride thing where you may be down, you may not have won the game, but you prove you've still got the ability to produce the strikes. Tom, first one in the 10th, now attempting his first bonus ball. Plenty of muscle in it, crosses over, not getting the break this time, but still maintain the good, clean score by Western Australia. As we see that shot, just contorted himself a little bit at the foul line, perhaps a little bit too much muscle, trying too hard to get the strike. And now faced with the 2-pin spare. Fades the ball out, good cover.
He collects them, but it's a good win, a good, solid semi-final victory to the under-21 side over last season's grand finalists in Western Australia.
Thank you.
Final score in this game, the under-21s, 219, Western Australia, 193.
The under-21s home by 26 pins in the first semi-final. They're now into the grand final